I'm here. You're here. Ooh. Hey, we're all here. Ah. Welcome in. How are you doing today? It is orange and blue today. I gotta put my mic next to me so y'all can hear what I say about this Broncos team and this Broncos defense, and Nik Bonitto leading the way. Leading the charge for your Denver Broncos. How you feeling out there, Broncos country? Switching over to Jets week. We can still and always celebrate that Eagles game if you'd like. But it's time to turn the page over to the New York Jets, Denver Broncos out in the UK, and they are getting ready for this contest, and we are getting ready for you and another big day here on the show. Cecil Lammey rolling solo, Andrew Mason on assignment, and it's time to talk about Nik Bonitto winning Defensive Player of the Year, because Zach Bai brought this up first, like 2 weeks ago. Zach brought this up, and you know, you always get a little peanut butter and jealous when you do a show and then you hear someone else come in with a topic. They're like, damn, I wish I could have been ahead on that topic, because yeah, I feel like you could see Nik Bonitto win Defensive Player of the Year again, and the track that he is on is absolutely amazing, because he's on track to beat the NFL sack record. In fact, he's on track to, I don't necessarily say shatter it, but anytime you get over 22 and a half sacks and projected for that for this season, projected for 24 sacks on the year, that is pretty special. And as Stoke would say, special is what you're looking at when you see Nik Bonitto out there rushing the passer. And I mean, my God, here we are. What's he been paid? A month and a half? And it's already looking like a bargain. I mean, that's how you know you paid the right guy. Zach Allen balling out, paid the right guy. Cortland Sutton balling out, paid the right guy. You don't have any of these players that you've given new big money contracts to that you're like, hey, you're not getting your money's worth. Now, some of the new guys, of course, Evan Ingram can do more with the money he's getting. Obviously, Drake Greenlaw can do something with the monies he's getting, because you've gotten no return on your investment with Drake Greenlaw. So that being said, but if you look at the players that they worked on, got the deals done, Sutton, Allen, Bonito, all balling out, and Bonito leading that way where, I mean, he's becoming one of the NFL's elite. You could always say Nik Bonitto was a damn good pass rusher. Now, coming out of college, and what's the old George Payton clip like? Nik Bonitto at 64, holy boop. Like, unless we get blown away, we're going to take Bonito at 64. Yeah, Nik Bonitto, 64. And I've always praised John Elway for picking Von Miller. And, you get a Hall of Famer with your very first pick. Number 2 overall is different from 64. Now, it's a little premature to say that Nik Bonitto is a Hall of Famer, but he's on that track, is he not? He gets a Defensive Player of the Year. He's on that track, is he not? And you get that guy at the end of the second round, it's simply amazing. And the Broncos had to operate there within those realms because of the Russell Wilson trade, the Sean Payton deal. Like, you had to sacrifice those first round picks, and then you had to find value at the end of the second round. You did that with one Nik Bonitto, amazing value. You did that also with Marvin Mims too. But I look at this with Bonitto specifically and like, how good can he be? We haven't seen the best. I always ask the question, and it bears answering, it bears asking, have we seen the best of blank? Have we seen the best of insert player's name here? Have we seen the best of Nik Bonitto? The answer is no. And think about that. That's absolutely frightening and terrifying for opposing quarterbacks out there. Justin Fields, you're up. You're up, Justin Fields. So, yeah, that is terrifying to think that Nik Bonitto is just getting started. And snap to sack, you always see those numbers. Jonathan Cooper's actually got a beat snap to sack, but they're both in the top 5, I believe, top of my head. when it comes to those sorts of metrics. So those two guys are the type of guys that can get it done. They work well together. They pinch together. You see stunts that are run up front with defensive linemen, with the edge guys, with Cooper, with Zach Allen, etc. So you see all of this coming together to lead to greatness for this Broncos defense. Now, keep it up. Keep it up with Nik Bonitto. Keep it up. Be on that defensive player of the year track, because it would be pretty cool if that gold shield that goes from Surtain's jersey, it's on there now, gets moved over to Nik Bonitto's jersey for next year. But this year, still plenty of football left, obviously, and we're in week 6. Obviously, we got a game in London going up against the New York Jets. The Broncos have to get it done, and the Broncos have to get it done perhaps without some players. But I really wanted to start this show in talking about Nik Bonitto and knowing exactly what he is becoming, and knowing that we have yet to see the best of Nik Bonitto. And that just tells you how great that he can be for this Broncos team. I think it's simply outstanding. It's fantastic that you would look at this and you go, hey, man, he is getting stuff done, and he is working well in doing those things that you need your defensive player of the year, that level of play, to do if you are one Nik Bonitto. You'll love to see that. You'll love to see that as well. So I'm going to get to your chat questions and comments here in just a little bit. Going to get to the injury report for the Denver Broncos there as well. But if we look at this game, if you're going to stack the line to stuff the run to slow down Breece Hall and that Jets rushing attack, and more on this as the week goes on, but they are the number 1 rushing attack in the AFC collectively as a team. They are the number 1 rushing attack, and they're still going to run even when they're down, because they kind of have to. That's just what they are. It's basically who they are, if you will. So if you look at this, you go, wow, this Broncos team is riding high off that Eagles game. You don't want anything to be cut out from underneath you, and all of a sudden you're tripped up by this Jets team, because you've got some different variables. And I will say this, football players are creatures of habit, 1000%. They are creatures of habit. They like things a certain way, and when you mess with that, then it messes them up, or has the potential to. And so, traveling overseas, you're going to play in London. It's going to be at 7:30 Mountain. So if your body clock is still on Mountain time, well, that's going to be a little bit odd, because you're used to playing around 2 p.m. Mountain, not 7:30 a.m. And even last week, you played at 11 a.m. Mountain, and the Broncos have struggled in East Coast early games. They won last week, got it going in the fourth quarter. You don't want any sort of slow start this week for Nik Bonitto and company. And Justin Fields as a runner, that's a dangerous threat there as well. So Nik Bonitto, yeah, you can get the sacks. He's on pace, and I believe it'll be 5 games in a row if he gets double-digit sacks, or more than 1 sack. If he gets multiple sacks, let me start that over so I can actually get it right. I believe it's 5 games in a row, a team record, if he can get multiple sacks again. And that would be awesome for this Broncos team. So notch a sack and a half, couple sacks for Nik Bonitto, that'd be great, but you're not going to do that if they're going to run the ball. You're not going to do that if you don't open a lead and force them to go pass happy. They don't want to go pass happy. They can run the ball. They'll continue to run the ball. They won't abandon the run if they are, let's say they're down by 10. It's 13-3. Broncos have the lead. It's halftime. They're going to come out and they're going to run the ball. They don't get desperate in terms of that. Now they can't really, because their number 2 receiver is, drumroll please, Josh Reynolds. So should be a good week for Riley Moss. At least we're hoping. I got some Riley Moss numbers too that'll blow your mind. And again, Mason and I are like the final Riley Moss defenders, it seems like. Y'all should believe a little more in Riley Moss than you do. That's just my opinion. You can have your opinion. Certainly people have heated opinions when it comes to one Riley Moss. So I'm going to get there. I'm going to talk about the injury report. Talk about the videos, all up in the videos that we saw from practice in the UK, in England, because they're not in London. They're like somewhere in the outskirts or whatever, like in the and literal BFE, but it's what, England, not Egypt. So yeah, they're somewhere not in the lower 48, and They are practicing. There are videos that show left guard from drills, and it's weird. I'm going to get into the more of the weirdness. But first, how about a word from our sponsor, RamosLaw.com. Today's episode of Orange and Blue Today is presented by Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Ramos Law was founded by Dr. Joseph Ramos, an attorney and ER doctor, to provide exceptional care to those injured in accidents. With a unique understanding of both medicine and law, the Ramos Law team is built to fight for you every step of the way. Experience the Ramos Law difference. Contact them today at RamosLaw.com. Here we go, Broncos country. And in this, we look at the videos that have come out via Denver Broncos on Twitter. I think Chris Thomason might have had some as well. So what do you do at the left guard position? I personally believe that we can't really look at these videos and say for certain that's what they're going to do. Gage says, hi, Cecil Lammey. Hi, Gage Madrid. Good buddy of mine. And again, Cecil Lammey rolling here solo. I went third person. I do that often. Andrew Mason on assignment. So here we go. All of England is BFE from William. Okay. Let me get this off my chest. And I'll get to your comments here in the chat room, and we'll talk about the injury report today. Jonah Elliss with a DNP does not make me happy because I love Jonah Elliss, and I hope he's okay for that Jets game. If we look at the videos, I'll break this down for you quickly. If you haven't seen them, and if you're not on Twitter, good. You don't really want to be on Twitter, and it has nothing to do with Elon. I absolutely think it's ridiculous when people are, I see the Teslas with the I hate Elon sticker. You bought a Tesla. Do Volkswagen drivers have that? But anyway, so it's like, now, don't be on Twitter. It's the realm of the lowest common denominator. I'm only on there for business. And if I wasn't in the media, I would not be on Twitter either. So maybe you didn't see the videos. Maybe you did. But Denver Broncos tweeted it out. And some of the reporters that are there in England have tweeted this out as well. And you had one drill where it was Quinn Miners at left guard. Now, there were 3 offensive linemen, and they were pulling, essentially. Just a drill. Okay? So it was 3 offensive linemen, not 5. There was no quarterback behind him. It's like Bo Nix is out there. Mike Evans' favorite guy, Jarrett Stidham, he's not out there. So it's like, what can you really take away from these drills? I think 0. But it did get people excited and maybe kind of nervous. Excited because Quinn Miners was lined up at left guard for one of these drills. And then Matt Peart. Not Neil Peart. Matt Peart was lined up in one of the other drills as left guard. And Peart's probably the easy answer. I've made the comments about it could be Forsyth, it could be Palcho, it could be Peart. Peart's probably the easy answer because then Palcho allows you to keep the jumbo package, which I really, really, really want. And there's no risk of Wally pipping Ben Powers because Palcho is that good. Like Palcho better at tackle, but I know he can play guard as well. Could play center for you too. So the left guard position, if I have any questions, I don't think we can answer those questions in the chat room about you look at, hey, who's going to be lined up at left guard and the drills and the videos, and we're deciphering it. Like we broke it down like it was the Zapruder film. And I don't think anyone needs to do that because they're keeping it close to the vest. Sean Payton asked about it today, just said next man up. Well, who's that, coach? Who is that? And he doesn't have to tell you. And because the media does not see practice, you see stretching and you see some drills. And again, I emphasize, so God bless America. Do not at me, bro, about like, you said that Matt Peart was going to murder. No, they did a couple of drills that made it to the Twitter's verse. And it was one time with Matt Peart at left guard, and it was one time with Quinn Miners at left guard. I don't think Quinn changes his spot. Again, I don't know. Maybe that's Sean Payton's plan. Maybe he's smarter than everyone else in the room. He did discover electricity after all. So again, we're just going to have to wait, and it sucks. If we hear anything different, I'm talking to Mike Kliss tomorrow, for example. Hear anything different, we're going to know. And by the way, that's 11 a.m. on Dover and Cecil. So make sure to check us out on Denver Sports YouTube. And by the way, you can watch the entire show on YouTube. So just tune in, keep it on when you're at work. And we appreciate the love, again, to make us number one in the Denver market of all shows, of all stations, not just sports. And to be, to be the number one show in Denver, man, it's pretty cool. It's really, really cool. I've never been a part of that before, and now I'm a part of that. And it's because of you guys out there. It's because of Broncos country. It's because of the tribe showing up. So Mason and I appreciate you guys here on Orange and Blue today. We're growing our Denver Sports YouTube channel. Check out the other shows. Give them the thumbs up there as well. We've got a bunch of hard workers here at Denver Sports doing their thing. We appreciate you for that. Certainly appreciate the love on Dover and Cecil. So 11 a.m. Mountain Time, I will be talking to Mike Kliss, who is in England, and we're going to be getting the latest there from Kliss about, like, all right, what's it going to be? Who possibly could it be? So we'll see. Ray says he'll tune in tomorrow for sure. Ray, appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. Congrats, Frosty and Saucy. Victory Lab. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate everyone for that. So more of your questions in the chat room. If you got any Broncos questions, let me know. We go over the injury report. Malcolm Roach has his IR designation done. He can be back. Let's see if that's going to be this week. Was limited today. I think if you're facing Breece Hall and Justin Fields, both as runners, this is where you could really, really stand out if you're the Broncos defense with Malcolm Roach back there, plugging up the run, stuffing up things, being he's got a mouth on him, that's for sure. He's one of the most fun players I've ever been around. And again, I've been credentialed media member since 2004. Being around this Broncos team since the Mike Shanahan days. I've seen some characters. Malcolm Roach is a character, that's for sure. He's one of the favorite dudes out there in the Broncos locker room. That is for sure. So Roach, watch that. We're going to watch the situation with Jonah Elliss there. Hopefully he'll be able to play, because when you can have Elliss and Tillman both also playing special teams, it's just remarkable, because then Cooper and Bonito get to stay fresh. So part of the emergence, back to the topic of today's show, part of the emergence for Nik Bonitto is really the freshness that he's allowed to play with because of Elliss, because of Tillman. And you just rotate him in. And then if you're Nik Bonitto, you don't feel like you have to do everything. Like, oh, now I've got to make a play because I can barely get off the field. I'm tired, whatever. You don't have to do anything about that, because you're able to have these waves of pass rushers, Cooper and Bonito, Tillman and Elliss, like waves of pass rushers upon opponents, and it keeps everybody fresh. And that's what makes the Broncos one of the best sack-happy defenses in the entire National Football League. So there we go. Gage knows it because he was there. Loves to talk, and Roach was fun to watch at camp. That's right, Gage. One of my favorites to talk to in the locker room, and favorites to watch out there at practice. So it's a fun time. We'll see if Roach can be out there, and we'll know more about this left guard situation. The Elliss thing's a big deal to me. You've gotten by this far without Malcolm Roach. Having him back would be a boost, no doubt. But if Malcolm Roach needs another week, you go, okay, yeah, well, played 5 games without him. So now you play a 6th. If he's back, bonus. I think Elliss is more key for this team right now, because you need him out there again to keep the freshness with Bonito in that defense. Going to the chat room here with a couple minutes left in the big show. I got to take a sip of coffee here. Thank you. Then we got Edward, one of the real ones right here. Why isn't Jaleel McLaughlin playing? Tyler Bidet does more and he does it better. Jaleel's one thing he can do, only Marvin Mims could do. Jaleel is one of those guys, getting to the side, get in the red zone, and get inside the 10 specifically, let him run over the pylon, he's going to get there. That's what Jaleel can do. Outside of that, pass protection is an issue. He's not as clean of a receiver as he needs to be. Tyler Bidet does more, because Bidet can run inside, he can run outside. And I think Jaleel, with 12 more pounds of muscle, just you wait if Jaleel gets on the field. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar or star even, but he can contribute to this team. It's just they trust Bidet in pass pro, and their 2-minute offense is Tyler Bidet. That's what happens. That's what happens. That's for sure. Holy Diver says, short answer, Bidet is better. Bidet does more, and the team trusts him in pass pro. That's for sure. Gage says Jaleel could be dark horse trade bait. I would say this Gage just kind of nosing around the league. Nobody I talk to is like, is Jalil available? And I understand I've gotten that question before. I've seen it on Twitter, like they could trade Jalil. And I'm not saying they couldn't trade Jalil. I just think we like Jalil. The league doesn't. And it's a young man's game. And with this draft class, I mean, if you're able to trade for somebody, for example, and he's not doing anything with New Orleans, wouldn't you rather have Devin Neal? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you rather go to one of these young backs? For example, not that the Steelers would give up on him, but Caleb Johnson's doing officially nothing for that team. So wouldn't you rather go there? And again, second round pick, they're not going to give up on him. But I'm just saying, like, there are so many other backs out there that you would look to if you were in that market. And remember, Jalil's skill set is very specialized. It's not even a change of pace back. He's a scat back. And he's a scat back you don't really want to feed carries to. He's a scat back that you have to get space for. He's a scat back that you don't really want in pass protection. So again, we love Jalil. And not to say that I don't talk to everybody in the league. Lord knows New England barely talks to anybody, even post-Belichick. Maybe Belichick will go back since he's going to bail on North Carolina. Good job there, Belichick. Ryan's in Hawaii? Woo! Damn. England would be nice. Hawaii would be better. My cousin, Laura Lammey, lives out in Hawaii. I'm not sure which island. So, anyhow, thank y'all very much for watching this program. And let's get some more questions here before I get out of here on today. Annie Davis, I assume Demario Davis, Nate? Annie Davis trade chatter? I had assumed Demario Davis. That's just an assumption. New Orleans is open for business. And that doesn't mean even Alvin Kamara. I know there was even some people suggesting on the fan, like, well, it's not Alvin Kamara. Look at Alvin Spotrac, SPOTRAC.com. Look at his number. You're not going to want to trade for that number. Let me just say that. So there you go. Bronco Maniac, says David. That's right. Going to be an all-nighter carried over to Sunday morning. All right. There you go. Could do that. What's up? Fernando says, Grover, stand up. Yeah, there's only about 100 of us out there from Grover, Colorado. So I appreciate that. Now I'm getting, for fantasy questions, I will say quickly Vidal on that one, Fernando. We do not want to turn this into a fantasy show because it could turn in like that. And all of a sudden, trust me, we open up the text line on Dover and Cecil, and then it's just like, bleh. It's a ton of fantasy questions. That's why I'm ninja when I'm on Xbox Live, because I'll get fantasy questions when I'm trying to shut my brain off and play PUBG. So there you go. Cody says, I'm hoping we find an ILB to bring in before the deadline. Not picky, just need some options. I like that, Cody. I like that because it's just, I think any sort of fantasy about like Drew Sanders, I still get a lot of Drew Sanders questions. When's Drew going to be ready? He's a project. Hey, the project's ready. I mean, he's not ready, but he's ready. Like, he needs to be double ready. He needs to be ready to practice. And if he's not on the side field, anytime I get questions about Drew Sanders, I'm like, he's not on the side field. I mean, who knows when Drew Sanders is going to be back there? And then who knows what he's going to be? Because he's a project. So I like what Cody's saying here. Just like get some options. Obviously, don't just get some slappy, but like, yeah, Demario Davis. Let's make that happen, right? Give you some options. Dre Greenlaw, you cannot rely on. And listen, these guys weren't all going to stay healthy. Ingram's already missed a game. Huff's a guy that comes in with injury concerns. JK's a guy that comes in with injury concerns. And Greenlaw hasn't played a game. When Greenlaw does play, I personally cannot trust that he will stay healthy. And because of that, I would like a Demario Davis here. Again, options. Just like Cody says, just have some options, man. Don't be caught with your pants down because Greenlaw's back and then you're happy and then he gets hurt the first week he's back. And then you're not happy again. And you're in the same situation with poor Alex Singleton and Justin Sternod. So get some options. I like the way that he says that. The Victory Lap says agreed. Can we bring Cody Barton back in a trade? I don't know if they would. That's for sure. Yep. And Ray says Sanders is like Greenlaw. Can't count on him. 1,000% correct. 1,000% correct. So yeah, do some business. Pick up the phone, George Payton. I'm sure he will do that there as well. As it is orange and blue today, again, Cecil Lammey riding solo. Andrew Mason on assignment. Can't wait till Mace gets back here with us on this program. In the meantime, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And we certainly appreciate you again growing our Denver Sports YouTube channel. I know how much OBT is a big part of that. So thank you, and thank you. Back with more of the info from London. Again, I'm going to be talking to Mike Kliss. So we're going to get info from London, from England, from the UK, the Broncos and the Jets. Diving more into that matchup, of course, Friday, kind of an injury recap. Saturday show, preview show. It's 7 days a week here on Orange and Blue Today. It's why I say OBT is a BFD. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. We do have an audio podcast of this show, so make sure to check that out on the Denver Sports app. I'm Cecil Lammey saying thanks, everybody. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty?
For over 20 years, my family, like so many of you, has proudly been part of Broncos country.
Every season, we feel the energy, passion, and commitment that defines this team.
And now we are honored to be the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos.
Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.